What are you doing back here,
Oh,
dude?
sorry.
Look at this guy.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so we are going to be talking about the muscle up progression, and we love the one from the L1. The L1 muscle up progression is fantastic. So I'm going to take you through it. We're going to talk about what we should be looking for as a coach and the common faults that you're going to see as you're coaching or teaching somebody and taking them through this progression. So step number one in the progression is simply going to be a ring support. It should look something like this. What we should be looking for is going to be, we want the palms facing the body or slightly open. You guys notice that the palms are slightly open? This is what we're looking for. What you can find as far as a fault is concerned is most people are going to try to allow those arms to turn in. You can see the elbows bend. He's no longer demonstrating active shoulders. So he turns those palms towards him, and presses away. That's what we want to see there. Go ahead and relax for me. Now, step two of the progression is going to be the ring dip. This is what we want to see with the ring dip. Big thing here is going to be twofold. Number one is range of motion. We want to make sure that the shoulder gets below the elbow at the bottom of the dip. Most of the time, that's when the bicep touches the ring. But number two is going to be the hips moving down and up. That means the center of mass is going down and up as he performs the dip. So let's take a look at a good one again. Notice here, shoulder has gotten below the elbow, hips have traveled down. You see them travel up on the way up. What you're going to look for as far as faults are concerned is either not hitting range of motion. So let's see that real quick. Notice that he didn't go all the way down. That's an issue. We want to make sure we move through the range of motion. The other one is going to be when the hips don't actually travel down and up. He's not displacing the center of mass. He's not actually not moving the body weight that he should be. So let's look at that. Watch the hips. You notice that they stayed in place and his body just bowed forward and went up. Go ahead and relax. Now the third step is going to be getting the false grip, and then that helps us set up for success with the fourth step, which is the kneeling muscle up transition. So let's take a look first at the false grip. You notice that he's got his wrists on top of the rings. He can do a little knuckle bump here. Now from here, to do the kneeling muscle up transition, he's going to squat down like a catcher in baseball, sitting on his heels with his weight on his toes. From there, his knuckles come together. He leans back, and then he does the transition for the muscle up. Sweet, that's what we want to see there. Now, coaches, when you start taking your athletes through this thing, there's going to be a number of things that could go wrong, and so I want to give you a checklist of what to look for. The first one is getting in the setup position underneath the rings. What we will notice is that oftentimes athletes grab the rings, they find their false grip, and then they just lean straight back. Stand back up for me. Let's see that again. So oftentimes what we'll see is they grab the rings and they just lean straight back. And now when they're this far behind the upright in the rings, this isn't going to be realistic to what we see on the high ring. So for there, we would want toes on the ground. We're going to shift everything forward to get him in a position where he's still underneath the rings. Now, second thing to look for is going to be a loss of the false grip. This is a challenging grip to maintain. If he pulls or loses his hands and he's now holding it just in his regular palm, when he goes to do his transition, he's probably going to get stuck. So we want to make sure that we get the wrists on top of the rings, and even if that means that our elbows stay slightly bent, be okay with that. The grip is more important than the straight arm for this drill. Now the next thing, this ends up being the third, is where he pulls to. We want him to pull to the sternum. Oftentimes, our athletes are going to pull high to the chest. When he gets there, he has no place to rotate through. That's going to make it difficult. The other thing that could happen, even if he pulls to the sternum, if he leaves his hips down, he's not going to have an axis of rotation to be able to get through the ring. So we want him to pull low, to bring his hips up. It should look like this. Now the final thing I want you to look for here as far as faults that are going to show up when you're coaching your athlete through this is an athlete that never makes it to the bottom of the dip portion of this movement, that instead goes from under the rings to on top of the rings. It's not going to happen like that on the high rings. So what we want to do is just cue our athlete to end up at the bottom of the rings and make sure they're in the bottom of that dip and not worrying about the press out until after they've achieved this position. So once again, the L1 progression is fantastic. It starts with that ring support, then we've got the ring dip, we've got the false grip, then the kneeling muscle up transition. In the support, you are looking for the arms straight, palms towards the side or slightly open. The ring dip, we're looking for the range of motion, shoulder below the elbow and the hips traveling down and up. The false grip, we want to make sure the wrists are on top of the rings and that our athletes stay underneath the bar rather than leaning too far back. We want to make sure they pull to the sternum, hips and chest rise together, and then that they transition to the bottom of the dip. Try that and look for those things when you're coaching the muscle up.